cool. Joan Dominguez, Saber, LA band, new album, Lost in Flames, coming out February 7th on Angels Records. Congratulations, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Cool, cool. They only sent over the album today. They only sent me like three tracks, but I got to hear at least, the whole album finally, you know.
All
Um,
right.
you know, uh, I'm from that era, basically the 80s and stuff like that. And you really brought the goods with this new album. I loved it. I loved every track. It reminded me a lot of a band I photographed back in the day called Hittman. And
All
they were
right.
they were an amazing band, but the vocals were kind of like what you guys got and stuff like that. But I think you guys are a little bit heavier. You're definitely heavier on the guitars and stuff like that. And you know, it reminded me of a lot of different bands from back in the day, and I love the album, you know.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for that reference to Hitman. They're a great band.
Yeah, yeah. They're
Yeah.
yeah, live were great and they were a tremendous band, you know.
Mhm.
So before we get started with the new album, let's go into Without Warning that came out in 2020. Now that's going to be reissued, right?
It's gonna be reissued under the same label, yes, under RPM Roar.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the manager over there, Marcus, he went when he heard the album, he became an instant fan. And when I reached out to him when I was looking for a label to push out the new second album, he was one of the guys I contacted, and he was like ready to get to work with us, and he was like, "I love your album. I've had it since you guys put it out back in it was January 1st of 2021 where it came out, and he's been a fan since."
Uh,
So it was just easy to get to work with him, and it was like, "Oh my God." It's like
cool.
he's a fan,
Yeah.
it just makes everything so much easier.
Wow, wow. How is it feeling when Bandcamp, were one of the albums of the year and also Bravewords top 30 list, getting recognized like that,
Oh my God, what an honor. It's
right?
for to be on both. Yeah, Bandcamp. There's so many bands that go through there. It's just like it still boggles my mind that we were on that list of best albums. And even for Brave Words, we were on top of Exodus and Iron Maiden and even Adrian Smith with Richie Kotzen when they had their little side project going on. Like they put us on top of them, and we're just like, oh my, dude, I'm like
Cool.
dreaming right now. I'm gonna pinch myself, dude. This can't be real.
Definitely. Cool, cool, cool. And some of the newer bands you mentioned, like Wings of Steel, I interviewed them guys, about a month ago and earlier on too. And they're a great band,
Oh yeah, great band and great dudes. I got to see them in LA twice last year,
right.
and Parker and Leo, they're some of the nicest guys I've ever met, and they bring it on stage, man. They are a force to be reckoned with. Great band, great songs.
Cool, cool. So let's go down some of the tracks on Lost in Flames and tell me your perception of each song, and I'll tell you what I thought about each song.
Sure.
So first off, I really didn't hear a ballad, you know.
Everybody keeps asking for one.
So like
Yeah.
I'm saying, they can't do a ballad being this heavy and stuff like that. No ballads and stuff like that. But I think it was track number two near the end, kind of like got a little mellow, or track number three, one of them. And it got a little slower, but not a ballad, you know?
Yeah, it probably and track number two was Phoenix Rising, where it has that bridge section where like the guitars like just mellow out and it has like a bunch of
Right,
reverb, and then it gives it a different feel because the song is so fast. We just like, what do we do in the bridge?
right,
And
yeah,
Jesus, our drummer, was like, what do we do this? And he just got the guitar with his arpeggiated part, and we're just like, oh, that's so cool. It's such a different contrast from
right.
how the song starts. So we're like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's throw it on there. It's perfect."
Cool, cool, cool. Well, your first album I really didn't get to hear, but the new album, I hope it's in comparison to your first release, so I could go listen to that too. But in the meantime, Lost in Flames, the title track, the first song, remind me of a 80 mix with maybe some Priest and Hitman again. And I thought it was an amazing song. Well, all the songs I thought were great. So tell me a little bit about Lost in Flames.
Yeah, Lost in Flames started initially with just the verse riff. I had that, and then I showed it to the guys. I was like, "Hey, it's I got this going on. Like, what do you guys think? And they're like, "That's kind of cool. Let's see what we can write some lyrics over that." And we started just basically morphing the skeleton of the song, and then I had that bridge section. What I do is like I just write so many guitar parts. I'll record them in a software system and kind of like shelve them.
Right.
And when I was going through them, and I had the bridge section there, and I was like, oh man, that I feel like if I just work on this a little bit, I can make it fit, which I did. And then the rest of the song just kind of came back full circle. And then lyric wise, it was inspired because of Jesus's house burned down,
Right. Yeah.
and it was so tragic, and it was just the biggest thing that happened because we would rehearse there every weekend, and we were writing the songs there, and we like became super close friends there. I mean, we've been friends for a long time, but just like spending like hours, working on music, it's just you're gonna bond even more. So it was such a tragedy when his house burned down, and his dog was in there too. So he lost his dog, and we're just like, man, this is so heavy. It's like we were all going through a tough time, but that was just like the biggest thing. We're like we all kind of came together, try to help him out. And when we were thinking of song like titles or like even album titles, like it just kind of hit me. I was like, what did we do? Lost in Flames. It's just kind of like that was just where our headspace was at. And Steven was like, that's perfect. Like that it's like it's a good song title. It's like it even could fit the album. And we just kind of thought about it, like, yeah, let's just name the album Lost in Flames.
Cool. 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 How about Phoenix Rising?
That one was actually written way back in 2022 when
Right.
we were on tour with Traveler and Screamer and Haunt, and Jesus had that intro riff, and I was like, man, that's so sick. It's such a speed metal song.
Right.
And like he like wrote the whole song, and I was like writing lyrics for it. But the lyrics were just basically based off like being on the road and like some, we took time off because of COVID.
Right.
And once COVID restrictions were gone, we were just ready to hit the floor. So I took the inspiration from that moment, and it's just like we're like a phoenix from the ashes. We were ready to just go, man.
Right. Yeah. Cool. 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 Definitely. Madam Dangerous, which for me gave me a sense of maybe some Lizzy Borden in there with you know, I also like Testament, which I hear that in your stuff too. So like Testament, Lizzy Borden, all that style music, that's my favorite, So like tell me a little bit about that track.
Oh yeah. Oh, first off, you flatter me too much, man. Testament's one of my favorite thrash bands.
Yeah, 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 they're great, you
Yeah, but
know.
that song, again, always starts with a riff, and the riff that I had initially wasn't the same how it ended up. We
Right,
kind of morphed it while we were in the recording studio. We just wanted it to sound a little different, but it wasn't too far off. And it song came together so good. And we were writing the lyrics. The lyrics were based off one of the guys in the band. I'm not gonna say who. Was
right.
out at a bar super late and just met this girl, just like like starstruck him, took him away, and she like basically like manhandled him,
Uh-huh.
and he was just in shock. And I was like, oh my God, like who is this girl? And then she just left, completely
Right.
disappeared, never to be heard from again. So when this person told me this story, I was like, I know exactly what to write on these lyrics. It just came out so perfectly, and showed it to the guys, and they were like, this is sick. And once
Yeah.
we had like the chorus and the pre-chorus and all that put together with the vocals on there, we're like, man, we showed it to the label, and the label was like, this is the single. This is what's going out, like for sure.
Very cool.
And filming the music video was so much fun too. We had Daniel DK from Exciter.
Uh-huh.
He's a really good friend of ours, so we asked him to like if he wanted to be like the lead actor in the video, and he was like, "Yeah,
Cool.
man, let's fucking do it."
Cool. Cool, cool,
Hmm.
cool, cool. Yeah. A lot of these bands, like I said, my influence and stuff, because I was a staff photographer for a metal magazine called Metal Forces back in the 80s and stuff like that. And they sent me all over Testament, Exodus, King Diamond, all these bands. So like
Nice.
I hear that influence in your music and really impressive. I get a lot of stuff like Prague and all that other stuff, but this is the
Yeah.
stuff I love, and especially Steven's voice really meshes perfect with the music you guys play. So
Thank you. Yeah.
congratulations on that.
Thank you so
Definitely,
much.
definitely. Let's do Shattered Dreams.
That one was a little more personal towards like Steven. He went through a breakup with his partner that they were together for over 10 years.
Wow.
And we had this song, we had all the riff parts put together, and we just didn't have like any lyrics. We just couldn't think of anything. And we showed him the demo of it because Jesus, he wrote that song, and we just had it shelved for so long, and then we were going through like old demos, and Steven, he heard that one, and he's like, why haven't you guys showed me this song? We're like, I couldn't write lyrics, and we just, I don't know, we just didn't know what to do with it. And he's like, give me a day, give me 2 days, and I'll have something for you. And like, he disappeared for a while, and then he came back, and he's like, I got these lyrics, and then so we started jamming the song, and he just sang over it, showed us where to put the backup vocals, and he wrote all the melodies for that. And I was just floored, man. I was like, oh my God, this song is
Right.
so sick now. And then my favorite part in this song is the bridge section because of the harmonies that kick in. We
Right.
have one guitar, and then the harmony kicks in right with the drums, and it just like every time I hear it, it just like blows me away. And I'm like, my God, it's so sick. And then when we were recording the song, Steven just did that final yell at the end of the song that he just like holds for so long. Like
Right.
when I was sitting in the booth watching him, like the hairs in the back of my neck stood up. I was like, my
Cool.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, this guy is so talented.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait for people to hear it, the album.
Oh,
You
I
know,
know. Oh my
I
God.
can't, because I'm listening to it all. Like I said, I just got it today, but I kept on listening to it over and over, and like goes through my mind all these other bands I love and stuff like that, all mixed into one with you guys and stuff like that. So that's really cool.
Awesome.
Um,
Thank you.
yep. Time tells all.
That one was also another like demoed song. I was messing around with like inverted chords, and that was what I had for the intro. And then I showed it to Jesus, and he's like, "That's kind of cool." And then he like wrote the verse, and then he wrote the rhythm section on the pre-chorus, and then I wrote like a harmony guitar over it, and it just came together so fast. And so the song, that's the guitar parts were written so fast, but I just like heavily procrastinated on the lyrics. I just did not write any for so long. And I was just sitting there with a notepad and a pen, and I was like, why don't I just make the song about procrastinating? And it's just like that's how it came like together lyric wise. That's what it is. It's just a matter of like stop procrastinating,
Oh,
which is like why like time tells all. Like if you're really like if you're gonna do something, time
right.
will tell, or if something will occur. It's just like that was like the theme I had in my head. So I just like kind of like morphed the lyrics like that and showed it to the guys, and they're like, "Yeah, I mean, this is pretty cool." And Jesus wrote like a super cool rhythm section on the solo that like once I heard it, I was like, "Man, I gotta write a bitchin' solo to match this because this is really tight."
Cool, cool. Definitely cool. Now, this album's also going to come out on Burning Orange marble vinyl.
Yes.
Yeah, that got to be cool.
Oh yeah. Once we showed the label, the artwork, they instantly knew like we need to do it on that color. It's like it'll just
Yeah.
fit so well. And I got a mock version of it, and I was
Uh-huh.
like, oh my God, you guys were right. Yeah, we got to do
Wow,
it.
wow, wow. Did they do a limited pressing of that?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah,
It'll probably be up on their site.
yeah,
Hmm.
definitely, definitely. They'll be all gone, you know,
They'll be all gone
right away.
easily.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got to do like other bands are doing now. They're going to do 500 copies of Burning Orange, and then they're going to do 400 copies of Blue, and then
Right?
down
Yeah.
the line, like Ace Frehley did with Kiss, he put out like 10 different vinyls, and everyone's different, but he limited it to each different color, so many.
Hmm.
So it's
Yeah, and
pretty
they became collector's items. People will like go after them like crazy. You'll pay insane amounts of money
yeah,
for them. It's crazy.
yeah. Wow, wow. Shadow of You. What about Shadow of You?
Shadow of You, that's another personal song for Steven about his past relationship. That one I had written that intro, which is kind of it had like a ballady feel, like a little arpeggiated clean part. And I was literally sitting there on the couch just kind of playing it. And I showed it to the guys, and I was like, "What do you guys think of this?" And they're like, "That's really cool."
Uh-huh. Yeah,
It's like, are we gonna do a ballad? And I was like, I don't know. Like let's see where the song takes us because that's what we do when we're writing songs. We don't really like force something into the song. It's a matter of like what sounds best for the song.
right.
Like that's what we try to do every single time. So we worked on that intro part. I helped Steven with the lyrics on that one. We worked out a melody. And then I just, for whatever reason, I just kicked on my distortion pedal and played that huge chord that comes in
Right.
with the rest of the guys. And we all looked at each other. We're like, we're not doing a ballad. This is what we're doing. It's like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
moving into this.
Uh-huh.
And it just felt natural. It's like, yeah, this just feels right. And it came together and Steven took over the lyrics and it's like, when it came to the chorus, I was like, man, you really like nailed it on this one. It's so good. It's catchy.
Yeah.
And like every aspect of it, that song, we've played it live a few times, and every time we played it, people are just like, "Man, you guys, oh, like, I thought you were gonna do a ballad. We
Cool.
want a ballad."
Wow. So yeah, yeah. That's why I was thinking the same thing, listening to it. It's just no ballad. That's good.
hmm
You know,
We
you know,
we wanted the placement. We put it on like the second half of the record. It starts like the second side of the album because it's like you've got these songs that were just like fast paced and like super
right.
energetic, and then we just changed the theme on that second side.
Cool,
That's
cool.
what we wanted to do.
Right, yeah, cool. Now track number 7, On the Hunt.
On the Hunt, that one was also that was actually the first song that I wrote for the new album. It was written probably at the end of 2021, early 2022.
Right.
And when we went on tour, I won't name names, but some of us were being bad boys,
Uh-huh.
like living the rock star life and like
Cool.
enjoying touring
Uh-huh.
and like having fun. And I was like, I'm just gonna write some lyrics about what we're doing because this is fun, man. It's like
Yeah.
not everybody gets to experience this, and I know there's many bands that have like written songs about this, but it's like, well, here's our take,
Yeah.
And I had that riff, and I showed the guys, and they're like, it's super catchy riff, dude. Like you just play it over and over again, and I remember playing it in LA one night, and Eric Kluber, he ex guitar player from White Wizard, he's like watching me play,
Mhm.
and he comes up to me after the gig, and he's like, "That song On the Hunt, you wrote that song in E flat?" And I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Yeah." He's like, "Blew my mind,
Uh,
man. Nobody writes metal songs in E flat." And I was like,
yeah.
yeah, it's a little
Cool.
different, but like it's just catchy."
Yeah, yeah. Definitely, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
And the last track, Steel Breaker.
Oh, that one's we've been playing that one live for the
Uh-huh.
past like 6, 8 months now, and that's like a crowd favorite now. And like again, like the single just came out like last week,
Right.
but before that, every time we would play it, people would be like, "What is that song? Like that intro, like
Right.
the guitar lick that I'm doing." Everybody just like as soon as I start playing it, it turns. And what's funny is I wrote that song in like maybe 15, 20 minutes. And when I did, I like instantly shelved it because I was like, this doesn't really sound like something Saber would do, but what do I know? Because when I showed the guys, they were like, "Why weren't you gonna show us this song?" It's like it has such a like speed metal, like almost like early Megadeth type of
Right.
vibe.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, well, like I'll write some lyrics. And I showed them to Steven. And once I heard him singing over it, I was like, all right, yeah, this is the Saber song now for sure.
Cool.
And
Definitely.
then yeah, that he does another one of those screams at the end where he just like holds it
Hmm.
for so long, and it's like, man, you got some pipes, dude. You got like some super strong like lungs because I would have passed out if I held
Yeah,
something that long.
definitely. I was just going to ask you about that. How's his voice after a show?
Oh, great, man. Like
Yeah.
he has so much stamina. Like he runs a lot. He takes care of his voice and his body because he knows what it takes to perform like that.
Right.
Especially when you're on the road, if you're playing night after night after night, you have to physically you have to be capable to do that. And it's a toll on the body.
Wow.
So he takes care of himself.
Cool.
And I mean, I'm just doing backup sometimes, and even that wins me. Like I'm not a singer. I don't know how to like control my
Right.
breathing or anything like that. So it's like just watching him, I'm like amazed sometimes.
Cool. Cool. Let's go down each member of the band and tell me a little bit about your feelings towards them and anything you want to talk about each member.
I hate them all.
Yeah, they're like brothers now, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been friends a long time, man. Like, the first guy I met was David, our bass player.
Uh-huh.
I've known him just around 10 years now. He's been my right hand guy. He's been with me for even before Saber. We've been playing, writing songs,
Hmm.
and we clicked instantly. Or some of our favorite bands were like Iron Maiden, Megadeth, Testament.
Right,
And anytime I would write like a riff or like writing songs or something, he would just pick up his bass and like instantly just know what to do.
right.
So it's like I super close friend, great musician. We clicked instantly. I was like, you're like my lifelong partner. You're stuck with me.
Cool. You know.
Yeah, and shortly after that, it was maybe like a year or two. We met Jesus,
Uh-huh.
which at the time he was our guitar player. I met him because I was in search of another guitar player, and I just couldn't find any. And right when I was like just kind of gonna give up looking, he just messaged me randomly on like
Wow.
Facebook Messenger, asking me if I wanted to join his band, and I was like, nah, I want to join another band. I'm looking for a guitar player for my band, and he's like, well, I play guitar. Like, why don't I join your band? And I was like, okay. So
Yeah.
I went over to his house. We jammed to like some Halloween and White Wizard, and I was like, man, you play guitar pretty good. And he's like, I play drums too. And like he just got behind the kid. We were like playing songs. I was like, oh my fucking God,
Wow.
dude. Like, yeah. And so like we clicked instantly. I brought David over and we just like we jammed, we wrote songs, and we became like best friends. We were like inseparable. We just that's all we did day
Right.
in,
Yeah.
day out.
Wow.
And we had a band together before Saber, but it fizzled out. It wasn't going anywhere because we couldn't find a good singer.
Right.
And I was in a different band and I was playing a ton of gigs in LA, and I had known of Steven because he was also in the LA circuit. So we knew of each other, and my band was gonna break up, his band was gonna break up. So he like when he called me like the next day his band broke up, and he's like, hey, I've watched you
Mhm.
and Jesus and David, and like I love how you guys play. Like, what if like, we start something? And I was like, absolutely yes, let's see where this goes. And we brought him over, we showed him all the songs we've written, demos of other stuff, and he's like, all right, give me the mic. And like we just like we like jammed,
Uh-huh.
and we even played like some Dokken covers and stuff, and we are like, oh dude, like it just felt like it should have been like this since day one. I don't know why we've been struggling with other bands. Like, like
Yeah.
we just clicked instantly. So we would just hang out like anytime we had to like write songs. And I don't know if like other bands like all they do is just like play music and leave, but we would like play music and then we would hang out as
Right. Yeah.
buddies for hours after. So we became brothers, and we took care of each other. We helped each other with whatever like, came up in life, because all we wanted to do was like get to the garage and just jam. So yeah, man, we became like super close best friends, and like that's how it's been the past 7, 8 years
Right.
that
Yeah.
we've been playing.
Cool.
It's crazy. It's like it almost feels like it hasn't even been that long, but here we are. We're still going.
Cool. 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 Now, are you mainly a West Coast band?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. When we did tour back in 2022, it was the Allied Forces tour with Traveler, Screamer, and Haunt. We did the entire East Coast, and we dabbled into the Midwest. We got as far as to Texas, and then we were driving up towards like Utah and in Colorado, but that's as far as we've gone. But
Right.
we're hoping with this next record, we're gonna get a tour together, hopefully in the fall, and our destination is like Midwest to East Coast, because we haven't touched those areas. And we get messages and like comments on posts, fans saying we want you out here, we want to see you guys live.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just a
Wow.
matter of like promoters like working with us and getting those shows together.
Cool. 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 Well, wait
Mhm.
until they get to hear this new album. They'll definitely want to have you play everywhere. You
Oh
know.
yeah, that's the idea, man. Once it's out, we're gonna see what we can do.
Cool. 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 You guys have any merchandise you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, yeah, right. We have a pre-order right now for the vinyl and a shirt with a signed poster. It's up on our Bandcamp. Anybody can go on there and pre-order it. Since the record's coming out February 7th, we're waiting for the vinyl to arrive. I want to ship out those orders that are already in place. But if you guys just want to get a shirt or a vinyl, we're gonna set that up as well, so you can order that separately. But all of our merch is on there. We have still some merch from Without Warning, a couple of shirts there, but vinyl's like sold out
Right.
completely. CDs gone, tape cassettes all gone. Like they just went so fast, it was crazy.
Cool. Cool. See, you're on your way.
Right?
You're on your way. And like I said, once people get to hear this new album, you're unstoppable.
Oh
So
yeah.
definitely
Thank you
cool.
so much. Thank you.
Well, so what's your feeling about when people come up and ask for your autograph?
Oh. I mean, obviously I'm flattered. Yeah, definitely. And then, like, there's like a side of me that's like, you want me to ruin this really nice record for you with my signature on there?
Wow. Wow. Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, but I appreciate it. Every time somebody comes and asks for a picture, an autograph, like I will give you the time of day because you're listening to my music. Like that to me is like just means the world that you listen and you enjoy it. That's
Right.
all I've
Yeah.
ever wanted.
Cool. Cool. Now there's 8 tracks on this album. Were there any songs left off that you wanted on here?
Not complete songs. We do still have like, little demos that we're gonna work on for the third album, but we didn't have complete songs to just throw on there.
Right.
When we work with Trevor in these past two albums from Haunt, he has a studio at his house, and when when we're doing pre-production, he wants to know exactly what we're doing because he has very limited time. So we're like, all right, we have these 8 songs, this is what they sound like, and we're gonna go in there and this is what we're gonna do. And he's like, all right, cool. I'll make the time just for that.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah. But no, there was demos for sure of like parts for other songs
Right.
that they're currently being worked on. We're gonna hopefully have a third album done by the end of this year and you know recorded and hopefully out early next year or summer of next year. We don't want a huge gap between albums like there was from the first album to this one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So what are your hopes for this album once it's released, February 7th?
Hopefully great reception. Like I want everybody to enjoy it as much as they did as the first one.
Uh,
And some of our goals for this release is to get us to Europe. Everybody's been asking us, they want to see us, and we're like, all right, well, we got this record. We're gonna try to find the promoter and that can take us over there, and we can show them exactly what we're capable of.
cool.
Because you can listen, sorry, you can listen to an album and like the band and think the songs are great, but it's not until you see the band live
Right.
that
Yeah.
you fully captivate like what they're trying to go for. And that's like one of the things we are like or us as a live band, we engage with the crowd and we love having fun on stage. And that's what I feel like some bands don't do nowadays.
Right.
Even though some of their music is amazing, they're still missing that live performance vibe that was lost back in the 80s, which was amazing to watch.
Wow. Wow. So what was the last concert you attended?
Well, that's a good question. Um, I think it might have been. It's a Spanish folk band called Mago de Oz, which
Uh,
translates to Wizard of Oz.
right.
Phenomenal band. They played the YouTube theater here, and I've been wanting to see them for years since I was a teenager. I've been a fan of them, and they came to town. I had the time off, got tickets, and went. I was like, oh, this is so great.
Wow. Cool. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool. 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 So if you had a dream come true, what would it be?
to be able to play music as a living, man.
Yeah, that'd be
That
great, right?
that's been my dream since I was 10 years old, and I'm 28 now. I've been trying to pursue it for 18 years.
Wow,
You
wow.
know.
So what's your family think?
They definitely were not supportive at first,
Uh,
like it's like you want to be a musician, you want to play rock and roll, you're
uh,
gonna end up like a drunk or a drug addict, which was like never really my thing. It was more like I've always just wanted to write good songs and play music. And once I started like, going in toward that trajectory, like I put
right,
out my first album, we went on tour. My family was like, "Oh my God, like you're actually doing something." It's like, and then they saw like the reaction I was getting from people and like videos of us playing in front of like hundreds of people, even like at Hell's Heroes.
right,
My family was just like, "Oh, okay, you really know, you kind of know what you're doing. Then you're doing something." I was like, I've always known what I wanted. It's just a matter of like how to get there. It's
right.
just
Yeah.
that's the hardest part.
Cool, cool, cool. Well, Joel, congratulations, Lost in Flames, February 7th, Rock of Ages Records. Congratulations. And would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
The album's out February 7th. Mark it on your calendars. Check out our social media, Instagram, Facebook. Pre-orders up on Bandcamp. Album's great. There's so many great songs. Each song is very versatile. There's definitely something for everybody out there. So don't miss out. You guys are gonna love it.
Cool, cool. Thanks a lot, Joe.
Thank you so much for having me, Brian.
Bye bye. Talk to you later.
Bye. Take care. Bye.